Hello, welcome back, everybody, to the new season. Thank you so much for the hype train. We hadn't even officially started yet. We already got level 3 hype train. Oh my goodness. So thank you very much. Anybody who hasn't already told me in chat, if you gifted if you subscribed or were gifted a subscription, let me know in chat who you would like to give advantage to, and we'll get them an advantage. But yeah, thank you all so much. I'm excited for this game, Standing Stones. It's high fantasy on fundamental RPG, which I don't think we've really done on the channel yet, so it's pretty exciting. Before we jump into everything, though, I want to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves and their characters, and then we'll pass it on over to Calliope to take it from there. So starting with top left, Zan, tell us a little bit about Finn and yourself.
Nope, muted, always muted. Now would you forget? Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Zan. I'm a professional DM and content creator for 5e World of Darkness, powered by the Apocalypse, and a whole bunch of other great games out there. You can find me here, as well as on some other great channels that I'll talk about over at the end of the stream, in addition to my own stuff. Today I'm going to be trying something new. We're going to be playing Finn Karst. Who is the most aquatic of residents amongst our little troop. Finn is part of a family that controls the waterway, and as such, all people who share his bloodline are adapted to life in the water through some way or another. Some look like aquatic animals, some just look like water, some, it kind of changes based on person to person. In Finn's particular case, they're a little bit more water-like in appearance, a little bit more like not quite a water elemental, still very much a humanoid shape, but definitely a little more translucent than most would be comfortable with. They tend to kind of keep to themselves a little bit. They're from a really big family that's not really supposed to be this big right now, and so they're trying to kind of figure out how they fit into things and keep their heads below the radar, because if you've got a talent, you get used for it, and it's a lot easier to just kind of skirt by. I think that was it.
All right. Fantastic. Next, we've got IC Historian. Tell us a little bit about Veshna and yourself.
Alrighty, hi team. I'm so excited for a new season. I am IC Historian. IC Historian, all the places I feel like being found on the internet. I am a channel hopping role player, and that's a lot of fun. I'll be playing Veshna Brevik. I'm very excited. Unlike my water elemental friend, Veshna is like a fox girl, which is kind of like an anime cat girl, except not going to be on a body pillow anytime soon. Her family runs the local and only inn tavern gathering joint, the Pylon on Inn. She lives with her father. Her mother has passed away, and she is sort of like a little bit of the town busybody, very much like a Harriet the Spy type character who keeps tabs on any sort of rumors and often is like the information broker for the town and picks up on things that the adults either fail to acknowledge or choose not to acknowledge. And she's very excited because her BFF is coming back for the summer.
Awesome. Next, we've got Jay. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, how do you pronounce your character's first name? Then tell us a little bit about them and yourself, Beckney.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Jay, or Alien Jays. You can find me on Twitter and itch.io at Alien Jays, and I'm a game dev and a role player and a writer. And currently I'm making a system, you may have heard of it. It's called Afterburner. It's all about racing real fast and looking ridiculous. So keep an eye out for that. It should be coming out this year, hopefully in the next, few months or so. Today I'm playing Beckney Page, who is one of the foundling kids of the mayor. And they're a goblin. though they don't necessarily think they are all the time. Especially when they were younger, they didn't realize they were any different from the mayor and his other kid, who we'll get to. Their parents dropped them off unceremoniously at one of the other places in this kind of region because, oops, they can do magic and they don't know how to control it when they're a baby, and they blew off part of their arm and mostly blinded themselves. So they get along quite well, and they've had it since birth, and their self-preservation is questionable, but they are very fiercely protective of their kind of, not necessarily sibling, but the person they grew up alongside, so sibling for all intents and purposes. And they care very deeply about all the people they've met, if only insofar as they're really the only people they know. So when you only know 10 people, they tend to be your friends. So I'm very excited to see how that goes.
Awesome. All right. Also, just double checked, we're at 13 retweets. So at every 10, something happens. The first one being an advantage to a random player. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a d6 here. So that's going to go to another one to Jay.
Can I gift that to someone who doesn't have one on the crew right now?
Absolutely. Who would you like to gift it to?
Let's throw it to Icy, because I don't think she has one.
All right. Fantastic. Yeah, we can absolutely do that. And then that means it's my turn to talk about things. So I'm Raven. I'm the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which is my brand for all the various things that I do, most of which are tabletop related. And you can find my link tree here in chat. Right there. And then if you're watching this later on the Fantasy Network and can't see the chat, it's linktr.ee/theraven, like it says below my face. And then I'm playing Cauliflower, or Callie, who is how to describe shonen protagonist. She just wants to fight things and get out of this small town and fight bigger things than she can find in the town. Yeah, she's basically like female Goku, but young and lives in a small town and doesn't have access to fancy flying abilities and stuff. She just wants to punch things. She's gonna be a lot of fun to play. She looks a lot like what's behind me there. Yeah, and that's Callie. And then before I pass everything off, a couple more things to mention are sponsors, which I will get into chat here, which is Fundamental RPG, so the system that we're using for this game. You can pick up a copy for the physical book on Amazon, or you can go to coffee.com/raven/shop. So like it says at the bottom of the screen, just add /shop to the end of that. And you can find the PDF version and free character sheets that are all there available to download. Also at that same website, you can find Intrepid, which is adventuring gear for real life. There's some really cool new stuff that's up there right now. Some Pride water bottles, a coffee mug, which looks really cool. But there's also outdoor and athletic and casual wear, mouse pads, a whole bunch of stuff, but it's all tabletop themed or influenced. So very cool stuff there. And then finally, Die Hard Dice, which is just an amazing dice company. Great people over there, and their dice are incredible quality. They sent me over a full set of the Prismatic Rainbow dice this month, which looks kind of like this. It's a little hard to see on the camera, but they're gorgeous. And if you'd like to pick up your own set or anything else, just be sure to use the code BlackFeatherMay, all kind of one word, capital B, capital M, for 10% off your order. And I think that's everything. So I'm going to pass it on over to Pat. Tell us a little bit about, is it Pyron and yourself?
Pyron, like Byron,
Pyron.
but with a P.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm playing Pyron Page, another child of the mayor in town. Pyron is an anthropomorphic pangolin, so that's great for him. He's also he's the resident angsty theater performer kid of town, and the mayor just doesn't get that that's his life. He's very excited to have a sibling that is just as into chaos and hijinks and destruction as him. That's pretty much his bag in this town.
Love that. All right. And then Hannah, tell us a little bit about Sage and yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Will Hannah, a part-time human, occasional creative, and today I will be playing Sage, who is in fact a fawn, hence the makeup. Sage lives kind of on the outskirts of town near the forest with their parental unit Faunus. It's just a really on-the-nose name. Who even knows if it's their actual name? Where they practice medicine are basically the town's apothecaries. And Sage is frequently the one who is forced to go into town to deliver the medicines and also look after the mayor's kids who are like to blow an arm off at any given moment.
That's fair. And then last but not least, we've got Calliope. Tell us a little bit about yourself and this really cool world that you've put together, and take it away.
Hello, everybody. I'm Calliope. I am a teacher and a PhD student, and I love thinking about how role-playing games can be used in education and how we can change middle schoolers' minds for the evil cause of individuality and thinking for yourself. So I want to bring us to the valley called Haven Valley. Haven Valley. So I'm going to paint you a word picture. So Haven Valley is this very beautiful, fertile, green river valley that grows increasingly more affluent as you go south. It ends at the sea. There's these huge, really sort of cosmopolitan cities there, with ports and trade from exotic lands and a university. The people here in Haven Valley are not the most creative. They're more practical than creative, and their different town names and things like that reflect this. Big River is the big river that winds lazily through the valley, and there's farmland and orchards everywhere. It's very fertile. Further south, there's a large east-west valley highway across the valley that has a pontoon bridge. The pontoon bridge that goes across this big river is so long that in the middle you can stop and have lunch at the tavern. I mean, that's what travelers have told us. Because our story takes place much further north, where the big river runs a little wilder and a lot skinnier, where life's a little plainer, folks are simpler. It's as far north as you can go in this valley, but right at the edge of the Standing Stones. And we find the tiny town of Pylon Bridge, which is the only other place that you can cross Big River, if you were headed that way for some reason. And some people do go up there for adventure, to get close to the woods. Now, don't get me wrong, Pylon Bridge is a lovely small town, so maybe visiting's enough. You can hear the rumbling falls from there, and all the nice townspeople have planted potatoes and bushes with berries and fruit trees all along the much smaller highway so that adventurers can eat them if they haven't quite gotten to the Pylon on in. It's a pun. So as we go along the road, it's not potato season yet, but it's the first day of summer. And it's the first day that's really hot, that sort of there's adventure in the air. It's gonna be summer, spring's over, all that planting's done. It's time to see what trouble you can get into. And this is a story about young teenagers who live in a small town. So a nice summer day is a great place to get started with some trouble. And as we come up sort of easterly into Pylon Bridge, we are going to pull off the road and we're going to head closer to the Standing Stones and the edge of the Nillfield. And we're going to see a fawn who's doing something in the woods. Maybe not as dutifully as they should be, but they are certainly up to something to help out their parent. So we see Sage. Can you describe what Sage looks like a little bit?
So Sage obviously has the bottom half is like the hind legs of a deer. And they have this big bushy head of kind of ambery brown hair and just the tiniest little horns peeking out because they're still quite young. And of course, big green doe eyes. They wear a pretty simple like weave around the body top. And it's really hot, so that's about it.
So,
some sort of modesty covering.
What does Faunus want you to get out in the woods today?
Probably some more like things that are good, like any kind of herbs and stuff like that. That's going to help people cool down or deal with heat stroke because we're coming into that season.
Awesome. So let's do a roll. The
Ooh.
First one of the game. Ready? I want to see how you're doing as you're picking stuff up. So I think this is a naturalist roll.
Oh, good. My best. We're going to start the game with my literal best skill.
Yeah, we are. We're starting easy.
Okay. I rolled a 25.
So this is like old hat for you. You can do this practically with your eyes closed. You do this all the time. And as you're out there, you notice a really amazing smell. And it can mean only one thing. The candy fruit is finally ripe.
Yay!
And the candy fruit time is the best time because you can sell it to the travelers, kind of like a lemonade stand with your friends and make a bunch of cash. But it's much better to have your friends with you.
Mm-hmm.
To gather it all up and sell it. You maybe get some pyrotechnics because there's nothing better at a lemonade stand or fruit stand than pyrotechnics. And so, Sage, when you smell the smell of candy fruit, well, first of all, what does candy fruit smell like?
Gushers. I'm gonna go with gushers.
Yeah. I feel like candy fruit smells and tastes like all those fruits that are not real fruits that are in candy, like blue raspberry.
Just a bit sweeter than real fruits.
Right? Or like that flavor that's grape. Or purple.
Like how bananas are based off extinct banana flavor.
Right. It's all of those and more, and it's delicious, and it keeps well when you travel. So this is the time to make your money for the year off candy fruit. What will you do?
Drop off my herbs like a good child and then go get my friends.
Awesome. So you're gonna head back right away?
Yeah, well, like smell that candy fruit and I'm like, I've probably gathered enough. I'm gonna just drop these off and then we're going.
So over at the cottage is very close to the Standing Stones compared to everybody else. I mean, the town is close too, but it's mostly backed by cliffs, really close to the river. But you live a little further out where the woods start, and there are no woods on your side. I mean, there's trees, but not like those woods. They're on the other side of the Standing Stones, but your cottage is very close. And it's old. And it may be as old as your parent.
That seems impossibly old then.
Impossibly old.
How do we live in this?
You're right. I wonder if, for Sage, it's like maybe the house was even there before the rocks. it was certainly there. It was as a point of historical fact there before the Standing Stones. But
Ooh.
yeah, so what does it look like?
Like it's growing out of the ground itself. Like you've got the bottom, like it's there's stones and it's got the like thatched roof, but the bottom of the stones have so much grass and moss and ferns and like just growing up and into the stones. It looks like it's part of the land and the forest.
I like the idea maybe that some of the windows are round.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
got that sort of more organic-y kind of shape to it.
Yeah.
And so as you go in to drop off your herbs, there's Faunist, and they are writing something, probably cataloging some of the herbs to figure out what you're going to need to do next. And they look up at you, and they have these like impossibly old goat eyes, right? With the like pupils that are not round, but are like that
The
weird
sideways pupils.
yeah, like, right? And they look up at you with their very long, probably very white eyelashes, because they're sort of, and they say to you, they ask you, did you find what you were looking for?
Oh, yes, I found it. The candy fruit is ripe, so I was hoping I could go gather the others to,
Is it ripe so soon?
I was surprised too, but I mean, you've taught me to trust my nose.
Well, I suppose if you've collected your herbs, you must go and see. It would be a shame if you did not collect enough candy fruit for the season.
Thank you. Bye, I love you.
Do not gouge the travelers on prices too badly.
I wouldn't. I'll try to keep the others
Send the
in line.
message to Beckney and
Thank you.
Byron.
I think you have to worry about Vesh no more than those guys, but okay.
And I think as they send you off, they're also going to send you with like a little list of like a couple things to get, a couple jars from the store, and while you're in town, collect these things and be home before dark.
I will.
And
Good luck with your stuff. Bye.
and they just sort of smile to themselves and look, it has been candy fruit season at this time for many years. And they look at you fondly as you fondly.
Fondly.
That was a mistake. As you skip off down the road. So as you start to skip off down the road towards town, is Sage a careful sort of person, or would they just sort of start running?
Usually probably pretty careful, but I feel like the excitement of the candy fruit would have them skipping.
All right. So that gives me the question, Callie, if you and
Yes.
your brother were riding in a little cart down the road, who would be driving?
Depends on who won the wrestling match. So probably Callie.
Okay. Is Callie a careful driver?
Oh, hell no.
No, I didn't think so. So,
I'm gonna get run over.
you roll hearing.
Oh no.
Excellent. Wait, no. Sage or Callie?
Sage,
Perfect.
you can hear
Okay.
something careening up the very clattery road.
Didn't roll
Oh,
as
no.
well. 12.
So as in your excitement, you burst onto the road just as Callie and her brother are driving up. Callie, I almost wonder if you're not driving the cart, you're pulling the cart.
I mean, that's also a possibility. Like, I'd say it's
Hercules? Yeah.
50-50 chance of that happening. Her wanting to get in some more training before they get to the town.
Yeah, so I actually, if you don't mind, you can both
I'm good with
drive and pull at the same time, and you've got this very small, like, 2-wheeled cart behind you that has your brother, who's mostly asleep, and you and Sage come face to face very, very quickly. So, I would like you to roll. What's the best roll? Oh, nimbleness. I want you both roll nimbleness.
Okay.
Don't fail me now.
Oh no.
We both failed.
Both failed you now.
We started too strong.
In an epic collision in which Callie and Sage are rolling over each other, and the as of yet unnamed brother goes shooting off into the air. So he is rudely awakened in midair. What is his name?
Yeah, give me one sec.
Is it Brock? Like broccoli?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, a string of very creative expletives, some of which are new since the last time you've been up here, because somebody came and taught him some new ones. He goes flying through the air and crashes into a tree. How do you take damage?
As in, like,
So this is not really unarmed combat, but this is a very large collision. So what would be the best way mechanically for you to like smash into each other?
Oh, I'd say that probably like a D4 damage.
Okay. So go ahead and do you want me to roll that? I guess I could roll that.
Sure. Either way.
I could
Whichever one you prefer.
What damage do we do to each other in this wonderful mid-morning collision? Oh, good.
All right. So you guys are not really very hurt. Only some hurt. And it is mostly your pride that is wounded. So when Callie and Sage bump into each other, are they angry? Or are they delighted?
No.
Like, they haven't seen each other since last summer. Because starting in the fall, Brock and Callie have to go back home to the farm and, like, get everything sorted out. So,
Callie! You're back!
So Callie's like on her butt, rubbing the back of her head, going, "Ow! What did I hit?" Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. Sorry about that.
I also didn't see you, so that makes us even. More importantly, the candy fruit is ripe. It is time to gather the players.
Brock is like rubbing his head and he's like, what the? Oh, jeez. Can you just watch where you're going?
Hello. Hello, broccoli.
Callie like summarily ignores Brock. And just
I
keeps
can't
talking to
remember
Sage.
what your name is. Brock's a little older and fancies himself very sophisticated now that he knows swear words down south. And he's like, I've forgotten what your name was.
That's okay. It's not important to you.
You're right. I'm gonna let. And he just sort of like huffs off and he just starts walking to town.
I think
He's
Callie
taking
will,
care of himself.
assuming there's no objection from Sage or Hannah, Callie will like scoop up Sage and just plop them into the cart and start heading back towards town.
That sounds fantastic.
Perfect. Like just one-handed, just like, oh, here you go.
Hup, and then hup. Take the
just
fawn and
continue
we
on
put
our
it in
way.
the cart.
So I'm leave you two in the cart, finishing up, getting to town. I'm imagining you passing Brock, maybe purposefully throwing dust in his face as he's like,
I'll just relax in the cart.
Yeah, ugh. What, you're taking your life in your hands, Sage, or whatever your name is.
See, you do remember. I'm very proud of you. I knew you were smart enough to remember simple things such as names.
Callie's also gonna just like call over her shoulder and be like, pick up the pace. The candy fruit's ripe. We gotta go get candy fruit.
I'm not playing with you. I'm working. Brock is extremely pleased with himself because he is old enough to get a job at the inn. And he is going to be washing dishes all summer. He doesn't have time to get candy fruits this summer. He is working a real job. So we're going to leave you guys there. And the camera pans to the biggest house in town. It has columns. They're not particularly functional, but someone thought they looked very sophisticated several generations ago. And it has decorative columns, like one in each kind of column that I forget what they are all called. Like, is one Dorian? And all the other kinds of columns that there are. There's like a variety of columns so that you have a nice smorgasbord of column varieties. And it says page on the outside. And you can see that it is a library on the bottom, and it is a home on the top, and it is the home of the mayor. The mayor is not home at this time. They're out doing their mayor things, but who is home are the children of the mayor, Beckney and Pyron, who are being read to by what is possibly the oldest person on the planet. What is he reading you? What is Larkin reading to you?
I feel like it's something about like rivers. Like it's just some really droll book about rivers and riverbanks and riverbeds.
It's definitely about river etiquette somehow.
Yeah.
Like the proper way to approach a river from different angles and at different times of the day.
And like if you have to cross the river, what to say, and like who gets on the boat first and who bows lower.
Yeah, how much water you can take out within an hour.
There's at least a half an hour on different hand signals for like which direction you're crossing.
It is warm. And Larkin is really named Larkin O'Dwell Page. Larkin is probably the uncle, but maybe the great uncle of the mayor. Another foundling from some time in the past, and he has the most enormous ram's horns. And you know they're the most enormous ram's horns because last year at the fair, his twin brother was also in competition and he won. And that's always the way it is at Days Ride. Days Ride Village. They're a day's ride away. They think they can keep up with you, but they can't. And Larkin has the biggest horns. They're so big, in fact, and he's so old that he would tip over. So he has kind of like a walker that's for the horns. And it goes down, and there's little tiny wheels on the bottom, and there's a piece, like an H, so that he can walk along without having to have the full weight of the horns, because he would tip right over. He's also prone to sleeping. So that's another reason he would tip over. And as he drones on and on and on and on and on and on and on, what are you doing?
Beckney is definitely like pretending to keenly pay attention. Like they're definitely have their eyes closed behind the kind of darker shades they normally wear, but they're waiting. They're just waiting for that telltale sound of the body kind of going slump in the chair and, more weight on the horns, because they've been slowly making little origami stars and ribbons that they're going to put on their horns when Larkin falls asleep.
That's very good. How about you, Pyron? What are you doing?
So you might be mistaken in thinking that Pyron is paying attention and taking very diligent notes based off of just how quickly the quill I assume we have is going. But he's mainly just it's just all doodles and sketches. It started out as a river and then was like different fireworks that he's designing to go over the river, moving on to drawings that he, knowing that Beckney's probably got the horns covered, he's drawing different ways that he's going to decorate the wheels for the horns.
I feel like the wheels, this sort of horn walker, has been decorated a lot of times in the past. And Larkin's not so mad about it, but he has to be very indignant. It is his personal charge to get you ready so that when you are grown, you've heard this speech many times. You could probably say it. It is his personal responsibility to get you ready so that when the time comes, you too can attend the university at Grandport and keep the page name going. One of you may even end up the mayor. So privately, I'm not sure that he feels that it will be either of you, but he does like to give you that lecture just in case. Beckney, why don't you go ahead and roll gut feeling to see if you can figure out without looking when he falls asleep.
20.
With a 20, this is like old hat. You guys had again, it is gorgeous out. And there's a fly buzzing around. It is sunny. It is too nice to sit here and listen. And if you don't wake him up, Larkin is liable to sleep for the next 4 or 5 hours. You might even be able to sneak back in. Well, so tell me about how you decorate his horns and then what you guys do next.
Okay, so yeah, as soon as they kind of realize oh, that's the moment, they slowly kind of, when you're in middle school and you just do that thing where you slide under your desk out of your chair, they do that and they go down onto kind of a crab crawl across the floor behind the desk. And then use the desk and the walker as support to climb up, because they're tiny. They're only about maybe 4 foot at the highest. So they kind of have to clamber up, and then they'll ornament only the back parts of the horn so that Larkin wouldn't be able to see it unless he's looking in a mirror or a river.
I feel like those go really well with the kick me sign.
Yeah.
That's also been there for quite some time.
Quite a while, yeah. Maybe I have an idea. Maybe it's not just a sign. Maybe it's something that Beckney actually sewed for him. It's not very well done, but on the back it definitely reads "Kick Me."
I love it. It's like a decorative scarf or something.
So as they're doing that, they're kind of motioning to Pyron, because they're trying not to make any noise, but they're doing one of these we got to get going soon.
And Pyron, from his, satchel that he's got with him, pulls out this little mixture that he's been working on and slides out of his chair and just rolls over to where the wheels are. And I'm, with my quill, I'm dipping in and painting the wheels with this. It's a little, it's it's some dye that I probably made Sage help me find. And it glows at night and just shows up in his path. So he'll leave this mark all over town and not realize it for a while.
I love this. I'm trying to figure out, let's see. I'm trying to figure out what you would roll. Do you think that's
Right.
an engineering kind of roll, or do you think it's a medicine roll?
Most of my special effects stuff is, or I was hoping would be like mechanical engineering.
I was gonna say, it could
But
be
it could-
art too.
It could have,
Yep, that's
Oh.
true.
it could have been
For
like,
ink
it
and
could
things
be
like
something
that.
social for whether I actually convinced Sage to get me the right thing.
So, all right. Well, you can
Don't
choose.
tell them what it's for.
Yeah.
Let's go with art.
Okay.
17.
So
Art
with the
because-
17, yeah, I think it's gonna work as, as planned. It probably doesn't last forever.
Mhm.
It's more like a glow stick kind of, amount. But I love this. And-
It's a first attempt too. This is like the experiment for when we start bringing tagging to this town.
Yes. And that's the thing that I really like about this kind of age and this probably group of kids is that the pranks are very pranky, this is a nice town where it's high fantasy, but there isn't part of the thing about Haven Valley is that it's relatively prosperous and people try to look after each other there. And so, especially way up north here. So people generally, they're relatively happy. And so they're not going to be that mad when they find out. They're going to think it's pretty funny. Probably. But there's always that chance. All right. How do you guys leave? Do you leave? You must leave.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's time to get out of here. How do you leave?
How? Because this is the question with Pyron. How tall is Pyron? Are we both short stacks?
I never imagined he was. Like
Yeah.
he's probably more squat. I feel like I imagine he's pretty round.
Okay, so I have an idea. Whether or not it's a window or a door, it'll work kind of the same. Is that like picture like a seal on like a ball in the circus? I'm kind of picturing Beckney standing on Pyron, as in either in the ball or just like holding up, and we pop the window open and then hightail it out.
You're on the second floor. So
Ooh,
do
that's true.
you
We could roll down the stairs.
you could roll down the stairs.
Because I think Beckney growing up with this kind of it wasn't armadillo, sorry, what was it? It was pangolin.
Pangolin.
So I think Beckney growing up in this pangolin household is very used to rolling around to get to places. Yeah, I think like if that's cool with you, Pat, I think we should like open the
Oh,
door
yeah.
and just roll out the door down the
Yeah.
stairs.
Okay, for sure you guys are both gonna have to roll nimbleness.
Oh yeah,
Gosh.
we're the worst pinballs in history.
13 and a 14 between
Yes.
Okay, so with a 13 and a 14, I think it's fine. It's fine, but it's really loud.
Mhm.
Really loud. And that's fine because Larkin's approximately the oldest creature on the planet. But you do catch the attention of Uncle Toots. And Uncle Toots comes out of the library and is like, "Hey, man, what are you guys doing? It's a library. You gotta be quiet. People are trying to learn."
I think Beckney kind of like rolls themselves into a wall to come to a stop. Like if you're running and you just kind of run against something to stop yourself. They hit the wall, lay flat out on their back, and they go, "Really? I didn't know. What do they have in libraries? Are they books?"
That is a lie, man. You know that this is when the library is open. You guys gotta be quieter.
And Beckney just kind of like looks up in the general direction of Uncle Toots and says, "Well, I don't see anybody around," and they just get this stupid grin on their face as they start kind of slowly inching towards the
I mean,
staircase.
you're not wrong. Nobody's here now, but what if somebody came right now? That would look so bad. And the mayor would be super pissed. Nobody's been here like all day. What are you guys doing?
Beckney looks at Pyron because I think they think Pyron is the leader and they're just the follower. Or where they assume Pyron is anyway.
We were leaving so that we don't make any noise. We've got outside studies that we're supposed to do. There's a project outside.
You are such a bad liar, Pyron. You're just like
I'm a really good liar.
We gotta study the rivers because Larkin's telling us about the rivers and we gotta go figure out.
Okay, so here you go, right? If you're going to the rivers, are you gonna like go over to the bridge?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you, if you see Wisteria, can you tell him like that I said hi?
Sure.
All right. Don't get yourselves in too much trouble, all right? And he like hands you each like a coin, and is like, all right, get out of here quick before we all get in trouble.
Beckney kind of gropes around, grabs the coin, and just tucks it behind their ear. Like,
all right, go. Well, the coast is clear. Come on, do it. So, I think this is about the time that Sage and Callie have made it into town. And there's only one person who runs with a cart in this neck of the woods. So I think that you would probably recognize it as Callie. What do you guys do?
does it sound like, are they kind of approaching with a good canter, Raven, or are they just approaching like just kind of a normal speed?
Just how fast are we going?
I mean, probably not like as fast as if a horse was
Mhm.
you know, hauling it. Pretty darn fast because Callie
Okay.
heard candy fruit is available and
Fair.
she really wants to get into town and get some.
Fair. So yeah, I think Beckney kind of like reaches out a hand for Pyra and is like, "Is that a cart?"
It looks like a cart. Do we? I feel like she's almost hit us before, right?
Probably.
I think try.
Yeah.
I think you might have to alley-oop me.
Well, Pyron,
Huh.
you get one chance to prank her first. Or like she's hit you so many times, like you've got one chance to like get the first, kind of go at it this
So,
year.
I
What
have
are you
an
gonna
idea. I have an idea if you want help on this.
Yes.
So when you say alley-oop, my first thought is Beckney comes in front of you, like hands on your shoulders, and then we go backwards into a roll. And as we're rolling backwards, Beckney like kicks you up, kind of like
Yes.
kicking up a ball.
That was my thought because
Oh,
I figured
cool.
I figured we were so short that we just get missed and run over a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. But I'm thinking like if we aim it at the cart sound, maybe we like volleyball pitch it.
I
Yes.
also really like the idea that then maybe Beckney just lays there so
Yep.
that the cart can roll over.
100%.
Right? Like when you
Yeah.
try not to hit a turtle.
3 times out of 4, I don't get hit.
Yeah. All right, let's roll. This is for sure some nimbleness. It's gonna be a little more challenging.
Oh god, I suck at
Gosh.
nimbleness.
Yeah, I did not put a lot.
Is it
We're the
is
worst
it the
of
missing
characters.
arm that prevents
it
your
does impede
nimbleness?
things a little bit, yeah. Yeah, you've got to arc a little more with the nub. Oh god,
Oh no!
we're awful at
you all,
this.
you both do have advantages. Just a little
I don't
reminder
know if it's
there.
gonna help much. I think we're
Let's-
good.
Let's play this out.
Let's roll with it.
Okay.
Beckney. I think Pyron goes directly, like, launches directly into Callie's gut.
So
Who
not quite the
then-
arc we were hoping for.
Directly into the gut, and I
Does he bounce back and hit me?
I feel like
How
I feel like
elastic
there
am
might
I?
be puking involved.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Like, you know when you hit someone right in the wrong spot and they like
Mhm.
puke?
Yeah,
Do,
we just launched a medicine ball and
Raven, do you want to roll for anti-puke?
Like
See?
a physical fortitude.
Okay.
roll.
Callie does.
should
Physical fortitude?
do I have a chance to not be hit by this flying thing? Could I try to dodge it?
This it is
Sure.
arranged.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Would you like
You
me
can
to
dodge a wrench,
roll
you can dodge a pangolin.
Would you like me to roll a combat dodge roll or a nimbleness roll to see if I can get out of the way just on
Let's just do
skill?
nimbleness.
Okay. 22.
Okay. So you are able to get out of it, which means that Pyron, I mean, with a roll that low, Pyron is gonna get run over, I guess, by the cart, and which would knock Sage probably out of the cart. And Beckney's like sitting there like this for a really long time, but the cart
The card never comes.
I would like to say that maybe Callie is able to dodge and ends up right on the porch of the Pylodon Inn. Sorry, Pyron. You're gonna take you
Mhm,
take a little big squash damage.
mhm.
Good thing you got all those plates.
Yep.
Yeah, but right. So luckily you are pretty well plated. So it won't be a lot.
We're setting a good mood
Nice.
for this game so far.
Sure are.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So I mean, it's mostly. I'd say this is mostly like psychic damage.
Pride damage.
See someone for the first time in a year and have your break go bad right in front of everyone in town.
if it makes Pyron feel any better, like Callie just sets the cart down and starts looking around frantically, going like, "Whoa! Did we get some of those new cannons in here? Was that a cannonball that I ran over? I want to see the
That's-
cannon. Where's the cannon?"
Oh my! May I try and from underneath one of my little plates? Can I pull out like a little smoke bomb?
Yes, please do.
What would this be?
Um,
I don't
Is
know
it
what
art?
most of my things are.
Are
Is
you
it
trying to be
art?
sneaky about it?
Brendan.
Oh, I am probably gonna use it to try and sneak away.
All right.
'Cause
Um,
Blend is typically the stealth skill, but whatever you want to do is fine.
I could blend in, and I've got 2 points in tools for stagecraft.
I love this. It's like a big. I don't think it's a tiny smoke bomb. I think it's a really big smoke bomb.
It
Like,
is not at all proportional to the situation.
no, I love this.
So +2, so
Nice.
35.
Callie and Sage, the cart might be on fire. It is smoking a lot. Veshna, someone has just run a cart into the town, into your inn, like onto the porch of your inn, and it is now questionably on fire. And there's a lot of screaming, and Beckney's lying in the middle of the road.
Byron!
Hearing the sound of the smoke bomb, Beckney immediately goes into one of their acts, which is, "Oh my god, there was a cannon! Oh, it's on fire!" And they get up and they start kind of like frantically flailing around in the middle of the street.
So your friends are here. What are you doing?
I think that so Veshna has gotten to the age of 14, and her dad is like, she's a fox girl, and her dad is like very clearly 100% regular old human. So like, there's questions. Nobody really, just there's questions, and he, ever since like she sort of hit this age, has been really concerned that he has not like raised her like a daughter. You know, like her mom's gone. He's like a big tavern guy. Like it's like, am I looking at the barrel or am I looking at Peru Brevik? I don't know. They're very, very similar. And so, but like Veshna really likes tavern life, not so much for, you know, she's a kid, so she doesn't really care for the like whooping and hollering, partying it up, but she very much likes being the center of the information network. And she absolutely is like gunning for this to be like her thing. You know, so she wants to sort of learn everything. So I think though that like, you know, her dad is like trying to get her to like go to like etiquette lessons or something. And I feel like they're having this argument of like, it's summertime, you should go join like the junior league of other children that are not your friends, etc. And like I think that like
Veshna, if I told you once, I told you 100 times. It's time that you join the league of other children who are not your friends. And learn some manners. They're gonna have to send you outside. This is all my own fault. If you don't, you should have joined the league of other children who are not friends with you years ago and become their friends. If only I had treated you like a daughter instead of a son.
Daddy!
Don't you daddy me!
Daddy, all they embroider. That's what they do, Daddy. They embroider. Is that what you want for me? A life of embroidery?
You stop whipping your tail back and forth at me, young lady.
Well, you know what? You shouldn't have married a fox.
I don't care. If you embroider for the next 3 years of your life, you are not going to whip your tail around at your own father in his own inn.
But Daddy, it's so boring. They make you ride a side saddle. Like, what year is it?
You haven't given embroidery a try? Look at all these napkins. I embroidered all of them. And
Then you can join the league, Daddy. You join the league.
Did join the league.
Good, and I'm sure it was really great for you.
It was. I was the secretary of the league for 4 years. All I want you to do is carry on the name. I want you to embroider. I want you to be friends in the league of children who are not your friends. But then once they're all your friends, you have to leave. That's why I'm not the secretary anymore.
But Daddy, I don't want to embroider. I want to run the inn.
You can do both. You can be multi-talented.
I feel like she sort of like stomps, and in this moment of silence is when you hear the crash. And I think she sort of like picks up all of her stuff and she's like, bye, Daddy. And she gives him a big kiss on the cheek and like runs out the door.
Bye, honey. Be back before the dinner rush.
Okay.
She's just like her mom was.
Foxy?
Yeah, but not in a gross way. Air.
Is it?
Inner monologue? I say this to myself a lot. She's foxy like her mom, but not like literally because she's a fox. Not because I think my own daughter's hot. Although she's growing boobs, it makes me feel very awkward. I'm gonna have to find somebody to have some of those lady talks with her if she's not gonna join the league of children who are not friends with me.
I think like as she's like running out the door, like he had like got her in this like tried to get her in this like frilly like apron situation, and she's got her like riding pants and like tunic on and like her like satchel bag, and she's just like tossing away the frills.
Hey, you treat that with respect. You know how long it takes to do a blanket stitch on one of those?
The league will help you, Daddy.
The league will help me. I'm not even a child anymore. I gotta join the league of adults who aren't friends with me next. Time and he's gonna keep cleaning. And
Yeah.
then
she like runs out and like sees the carnage and like runs to Callie, who is like her impossibly different from her like BFF, and is like, Callie, and like runs and gives her a big hug.
Callie just does like the bear hug thing where like you pick up the person that's hugging you, and like lift them up quite a bit, and is really excited. Is like, oh my gosh, Vesta, it's so good to see you. Should we be? Are we in? Somebody shot a cannon at us, and the cart's kind of on fire. Sorry, I kind of put it on your porch. I feel like this should be something that we address first.
Pyron, I know you are hiding somewhere. Come out this instant.
Pyron comes running up from behind the cart. It's like, oh my god, someone shot a cannon at you! Who would
I know,
do that?
right? And everything.
I didn't even know we
That's
had
neat.
cannons in this town.
Look at all
We
this
don't.
smoke!
Yeah,
There you
look at
go.
it. There's lots of smoke.
It's
and they kind
so
of like they
much.
look over towards where Pyron's voice is coming from, like,
So as this is happening, the smoke bomb is like outrageously large with a 35. It's outrageously large. And I think that at about the time of the smoke, Fen has been dispatched by their parents to go put out the fire. Or at least find out if someone needs to, because they're kind of the most expendable. They're at that age where they're like around, but not, they're sort of underfoot, right? I mean, that's the thing about kids this age, is they're very mobile and they have a lot of ideas, but they're not super useful yet. And they need a lot of jobs. So I think that you have been dispatched to go determine if there's some sort of fire. And
Okay.
get you out of there because Wisteria has a performance later.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. I'll go in. I guess I'll describe. Finn is kind of, and it looks like a walking mass of water. There are some like it kind of darkens to have so that it's not fully opaque. But you can see like small amounts of algae and things just kind of floating, chilling. Maybe a small minnow like swimming up the shoulder bone area. Collarbone? That's a thing. It's water. He doesn't have bones. They don't have bones. There are
I
some.
really like the idea that the minnow might be swimming around in their head.
Oh yeah, so like up at the top of their head, they've actually placed a few like pieces of colored rock that are creating kind of a rapids effect to look like a braid that kind of runs down. And yeah, they're wearing just like a piece of like leather around where their waist area is, just because that's kind of the acceptable thing to do, I guess. Like, okay, I'm out of the water, I'll look normal. And yeah, they are kind of walking a little bit slow. Like they're on the older side for kids in this group. But they're, like just kind of, they have the posture of somebody who's used to not being noticed by preference. And so they're just kind of like hanging around trying not to be super visible, but they are looking pretty intently on the ground to see if like they're looking for a few like specific flowers and things. Maybe any small bugs if they see them. And they're heading over that way. I think when they start to when they hear the voices of the cacophony of chaos that is happening over here, they're just gonna stop and like turn around for a second, and where the arms like were kind of just shift and mold into being here without like moving so much as just rearranging in a strange alien way. And it's just gonna like cover cover their face for a second, and just a few bubbles pop out. Okay. All right. I should have expected. I didn't. I don't know why I didn't. I don't know why I didn't see this coming. Okay, let's do this. And I'll take the little pack of night crawlers and things that I've gathered and kind of divided into a few separate packages and put them into a little not really watertight, but as watertight as I can get, like a little drawstring and just like stick it just inside somewhere. And walk on over and, hey, what are you, why, what is this?
Is that Fen? Fen, there's a cannon in the town. It's blowing stuff up.
Here's the very unfortunate thing is that if our cart's on fire, how are we ever to go and collect the candy fruit?
I mean, I don't see any fire. I just see a really cool amount of smoke that something did.
Oh, something.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You'd think there'd be more fire with like the cannon shot. It almost hit me in the stomach.
It's
Wow,
almost
that
it
was a
wasn't
close
the
call.
Cannon-shaped item, huh?
I think
Pirate.
Veshna goes to stand sort of next to Sage and adopts the like.
Crossed arms, like looking down.
I
With the glasses.
unroll as much as I can.
So, I think that Pyron is potentially saved by the arrival of Fen. I'd like to think that Fen is kind of on the socially awkward side, but there's something about them that maybe like Veshna or some of the like bigger personalities just really, really, really just like them. You know how, and this is a very middle school kind of age thing where there'd be a kid who's like super weird, and you're like, why is this kid, for whatever reason, the other kids love this kid, and it's
Like-
beautiful.
They're smart. They're like they've got education, and they're one of their assets is linguist, and I think that they would use it without like, maybe being arrogant about it. Just be like, oh, well, hey, did you know that there was a traveler who came through a few weeks ago, and according to them, that word means something else in another language, so you can change a word out there. Like I learned about this one. Do you know what kind of music a shrimp likes to listen to? It's heavy metal. See, it's funny because it sounds like a few things. Yeah.
Everyone, you need to roll charm.
Oh no! I have like one presence and no charm.
Pyron has
Uh.
absolutely tried to get Fen at like an open mic night at the tavern.
16. Not awful.
I think your friends, some of your friends haven't seen you in like a year. So,
I think I had a big growth spurt recently.
right. And so, how do you react to seeing them? I mean, Veshna, I think you've seen them sometimes. And the people who are like townies see them more, but they're working. Out of everyone, they and Sage are probably the ones like who actually work in the summer.
We're also the very naturey too, and also the two oldest ones.
I think Veshna is like big on Fen because Fen hears all that stuff. And so like every time like other people are like, oh my god, please stop. I heard the traveler story 63 different times today, Fen, when you told the other 62 people that you saw after you saw me. Veshna's like, can we go back? The fourth paragraph, I got barley and I didn't pick up the rest. Like that's like, yeah.
I think Callie's just gonna look at Finn and go, I didn't understand any of that, but it's good to see you. And she'll like try to clap Finn on the back a little bit harder than she realizes. With Finn's unique biology, what happens when Callie does that?
I think the initial surprise kind of keeps it from being like properly firmed up for the impact. So I think your hand goes in a little bit, and then Finn goes, "Oh, that's right. This is contact. This is we're physically interacting. Okay." And then like through a little bit of conscious effort, the water like kind of forms into almost like a balloon against your hand.
Okay. I think Callie just kind of like jerks her head back, and goes, "Oh, that's right. You do that thing."
But your hand is
Sorry,
not wet.
Well, that's good to know. I was like, yeah, sorry, I forgot to warn you because the thing. Is the card actually on fire?
The card is not on fire. It is
Oh, good.
simply smoking.
Bethany looks really like put out by this.
So
Honey.
Finn, I have a question for you. Before we came here at session 0, one of the things we talked about for Finn was that staying away from the water would be hard.
Yeah.
And is that something that we're gonna go with?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know if it will be physically endangering, but I think the longer that they're out, like the more just shit from the environment they pick up, and so their water begins to like visibly dirty and
Okay.
things. And I think that keeps them from functioning as well as they do when
Okay.
they're in water.
I guess I was specifically asking if your friends would need to find you a bowl.
I mean, they can. Like, I could probably fit in a bowl if I really needed to. I could fit in a bowl.
Maybe on the side of the road, there's like a horse trough at the inn.
Mhm.
And we are like, crashed up against the inn. So yeah, so when you go out and about, like with this gang, do they take like you in a bucket or is that something for younger people? Like, did you outgrow the bucket?
I think there was definitely a little red wagon with a bucket phase. That was 100% a thing for a while.
Maybe we just carry like a big, not like a water bottle, but like a kind of like a camel pack that we just use to like refresh you. If that
I could
makes
see
sense.
that. I could
Like
see
a
that.
water-
I could also see a barrel with the like top part of it just missing and made into a backpack.
Ah,
And it's
love that.
probably too small now.
Got some Demon
I
Slayer
love
vibes.
this. I love this. Sage said something a little earlier that is something that would probably start to register in your brains, which is that the candy fruit is ripe. And this means shenanigans are in store. So we're going to take a break and let everybody have a drink of water. And when we come back, we're going to start to find out what shenanigans are in store for our little crew.
Fantastic. Yeah, we're gonna take a 15-minute break, so go grab snacks, water, stretch your legs, whatever you need to do, and then be right back here in 15 minutes, because we'll be right back. All right, we are back.
The second half of the show is sponsored by the League of Children Who Are Not Your Friends.
Come learn embroidery.
Come learn embroidery and how to make frenemies. No, don't. Actually, go get some fabulous dice from our real sponsors. Yeah, the League of Children Who Are Not Your Friends probably do not appreciate a good set of dice. So, we're going to move forward in time a little bit. And when we come back to our gang, you are not very far from Sage's house. And you're sitting together, you're catching up, and you're very near the edge of the valley. And there are these standing stones, which have always been there. And so they don't seem weird to you. But an outside eye might notice that these very large, monoliths are dotted every 50 feet, 100 feet along, and they make a fence. And you can look through the fence to the other side. There's a little bit of discoloration, or it's like a soap bubble a little bit on the other side of the fence. And you might notice that at this time, none of the kids are actually coming very close to the fence, to these large stones. And as we go, kind of zoom in, we see everybody is having a snack. Who remembered to pack lunch? Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Callie did for sure.
Yeah. So it was Sage, Veshna, and Callie are sharing lunch with everybody else. And
I have brought extras.
What are you eating?
I have a lovely assortment of trail mix.
I feel like Callie has like a small jar of pickled eggs, and like maybe some sort of like granola bar type thing, and is just eating eggs out of the jar and occasionally taking a bite out of the granola bar.
Veshna expecting the pickled egg situation from last summer when her dad was making the sandwiches out of the roast from last night at the inn. She swiped 5 or 6 sandwiches, and last night they had a lovely ham roast.
Well, what you'll notice about these sandwiches too is that, his time in League of Children Who Are Not Your Friends has really paid off because they have no crust. They're cut the triangle way, and there's like little tiny swords like on each one. They're really set up nice like club sandwiches, even though they're just leftovers, because one has to have a certain level of decorum with their sandwiches, or what will come of you, It's another reason. Well, actually, I would say that there's probably 4 sandwiches that look like that, and 2 that are literally just a slab of meat with 2 pieces of bread. And I will leave it to you to decide which ones were made by Veshna and which ones were made by her mother.
Yeah, I mean, like, Veshna,
Right.
is definitely like, she has the personality for the tavern keeping, but missed out on etiquette school
For now. So what are you guys talking about? Like, you guys haven't been together in a year. You're here at the edge of the valley. There's no grown-ups around. You're starting to plot what you're gonna do to get the candy fruit. What are you doing?
Callie probably looks over at Veshna in between bites and is just like, so what have you been up to? This has been like a year. These eggs are really good.
Veshna's like doing that thing, that like where she can't watch Callie eat the pickled eggs, so she's looking kind of at the spot in her forehead between her eyes, like up here, like they teach people to do if they're like socially awkward. You know what I mean? Like don't make eye contact with people. Look at their forehead because it registers just the same.
Uh-huh.
So I think she sort of is like, well, I mean, like, school went fine, as always. Hung around at the tavern with my dad. He still won't teach me how to brew. She says that it's not for daughters. And I told him then, well, he should have worked harder for a son. And then he told me that that's not how it works. And then he told me how it does work. And like,
That's all
no.
really
Oh.
confusing, but gender roles are kind of dumb. You want an egg? She holds the jar out towards Veshna.
Your
I
father
would
told you
not
about
dare.
the formation of you from the earth into a concrete being? Wait, that's
I
not how
mean-
other people work, is it?
It was a little bit more euphemistic than that, we'll say. Yeah, I mean, you know, he keeps trying
What's
to
a-
get me to like
What's
go.
a euphemism? Is that like a dessert? What's it taste like?
I don't think that it's a dessert.
Whatever you want it to taste like, Kelly. She kind of like
That's definitely a euphemism.
pats her on the knee. But he keeps
Chicken
trying
legs.
to get me to go to this fancy like finishing school because he like mom's sister came by in the wintertime and she like doesn't visit that often, and like she keeps telling him that like I didn't turn out the way my mother would have wanted. And now she's got it in his head that I have to go learn how to embroider and ride side saddle.
Wait, you use a saddle?
I don't know. Stupid.
Why would you want to learn? I mean, like, embroidery is nice. I've learned a little bit myself. But more importantly, why would you not want to go out and see the eels in the woods? Or did I tell you guys I could hear the Leucocrata laughing in the woods at night?
I heard that they hypnotize you and eat you.
No, I don't think that that's right. But maybe I haven't ever seen them, so
I heard they smile at you and then they hypnotize you and eat you.
well, we'll never know if we never get to see one. And you probably won't get to see one if you're busy embroidering.
If they're strong enough to eat people, then they're probably like really strong to fight. We should find one.
I wonder where we would find one.
Did-
Not on our side.
I really want to get out of
Oh, sorry,
this
go ahead.
area. I don't want to stay here inside these like stones and stuff. There's got to be way cooler stuff outside of, you know, our town or whatever.
If I stay here, I'm going to end up embroidering and riding side saddle. And marrying someone from Day's Ride.
Ugh.
I think she like flops back dramatically, like.
I think there might be something mystical out beyond the barrier. Because I saw there were like these little snakes, but there was a head on each end and tiny wings.
What?
I've heard from folks that came from outside. We were kind of moving them around. That they said that, you know, there was nothing weird about the barrier at all. It was the same as it was here. It was just
Well, then why is
A
it
lot of-
there?
just to make us curious, keep us safe. You know, if we keep to the perimeter, then we'll probably stay safe.
Safe from what? If it's the same on the other side as here, what are we being kept safe from?
Travelers
Yeah.
come and go all the time.
Yeah, and they
It's
have
the
to carry
potato
swords and
monsters.
things.
We can
So?
get swords and things.
Oh.
Oh, that would be cool.
We have Pirate. He's basically like a shield.
I'm still looking for the thing that's on fire. I don't know how I wound up in this.
Oh,
This bucket is
did I
gonna
not
be
tell
the
you?
end of me.
We
Oh yeah, it
we're,
wasn't on fire.
we're going to get the candy fruit. It's ripe now.
Oh, is that why there was a fire?
No, that
Conversation. Pyron and Beckney, I feel like you guys might be losing it. Because, like, if you've heard, like, you have probably heard very long, boring things from Larkin about the, like, formation of the field and the stones, whatever. But the best part about the field is that it hurts when you touch it, which is a very middle school thing. So as they were having this very serious conversation about it, how can you use that information to
I was
your
gonna
middle school advantage? Like, I'm telling you, this is a group of people who's really into giving each other purple nurples and, like, you know, kicking each other in the privates.
Snake bites, yeah.
You know, thinking about this, what do you do? You're nice and close to that barrier. That's so painful. Is there a way that you could use this?
I think most of the trip, Pyron's been like running around like gathering things and just bringing it to Fen to see if they think it's cool enough to like keep as part of like to decorate themselves, and it's probably coming up short with a lot of things, but just keeps bringing you random stuff like, oh, like do you have these? Like, have you seen these before? But as soon as y'all are talking about on the other side of the gate, I think we probably exchange a conspiratorial look, right?
So what do you?
Has nobody? So with the candy fruit, that's cool too. But you guys know that y'all know that the field. You know what the field tastes like, right?
Dirt, grass.
No, you're not. No, we don't. We don't like the field. No, that's a bad idea.
Beckney,
That's-
they haven't tasted the field.
You guys are missing out.
Oh,
Does it not taste like dirt and grass? Because I train in the field back home and usually end up with a lot of it in my mouth, and
No,
it tastes like dirt and grass.
the bubble
Charm
field.
right now. You roll charm right now, and we'll see how this
Wow.
goes.
I will roll charm right now. I'm gonna use an advantage.
All right.
Damn it!
You still get the 15. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how charming you are. Sage doesn't trust you as far as they can throw you.
Which might be pretty far, actually.
Yeah, probably.
I'd
It's
like
ma-
to think that was in character, and then you give it a go. I said that once to a friend of mine in real life. I don't trust you as far as I can throw you, and he was like, "Give it a show me. How far can you throw me?" So, but yeah, so you guys are all starting to like fight and maybe throw each other. Was Callie fooled?
Yeah. Callie is not very bright. Well, let me put it this way. My discipline is at a 2. And my empathy's at a -4. If that gives you any indication. So, yeah, I think Callie's gonna be like, oh, that field thing. I'll try it. She's just gonna walk up to the barrier and stick her tongue out.
Ellie, no, that's going to hurt.
It's fine. Lots of things hurt.
Bethany has definitely got like one hand over the ear, like,
As you approach the field, it is like the closer you get to it, the more solid it seems. Right? Like when you're a little bit further away, you can only see it a little, but as you get up close to it, it becomes more and more sort of opaque or translucent. And it's just sort of there. So do you how do you approach it? Do you just stick your tongue out? Are you gonna stick your finger into it first?
just like straight up middle school. Somebody dared you to lick the flagpole in winter.
Double dog dare.
Sticks her tongue out and like moves her head towards the thing until there is contact.
Right. It is a feeling that is very similar to what I would assume it feels like to stick your tongue in an electric socket. It is very how do you react to that?
But how does it taste?
That is a very important question.
It tastes like hot?
Reaction is probably either to be stuck there or to be like recoil from it. How strong of a shock is it? Is it enough to like paralyze her, or does she have enough?
It's not actually an electric shock. It's just pain.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So she'll just jerk her head back for a second and like move her tongue around. It's probably quite amusing to see. Yeah. And just kind of giggle. That was fun. What does it taste like?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the one who tasted it.
I think Bethany yells back like, "Doesn't it taste like raspberries in a storm?"
Kinda. It's like whatever the high fantasy equivalent of Pop Rocks is what she describes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like fizzy candy fruit. And she sticks her tongue out and licks it again.
Yeah.
No,
for sure.
please. If you lose feeling in your tongue, I'm not fixing it.
No, it's fine. It's just all tingly.
Uh-huh.
He has definitely come over and joined
Yeah,
joined
I was
Callie
gonna
with
say,
this.
Callie, can you roll charm?
Oh, no. That's a -4.
Oops.
Oh my god! 26!
Everybody, there's just something about it. I mean, come on. Bethany and Callie are sticking their tongues on it now. What are you gonna do? Not do it? Come on.
I'm just gonna look to Sage with my face will shift. I think that they actually actively move. I think that they are a series of tableaus. They just flow from one pose into another. They just kind of shift a little bit and look to Sage and have this kind of helpless expression on their face, just like, and just like slowly starts the shifting animation of walking.
Oh,
I'm water. I'm susceptible to peer pressure.
I think Callie might be allergic to, let's say, persimmons. And so she's going to say it tastes like persimmons because it makes her tongue all tingly and it would taste slightly fruity.
Oh my god, and I would know this.
Yep.
I'd be like, okay, no, that's bad. You are allergic to those.
Myron, are you sticking your tongue on?
Oh yeah. Heck yeah.
What about you, Veshna?
I think Veshna will pick up like a stick first and like poke the barrier with the stick and see what happens.
Not much. If you're not actually touching the barrier, so there are some trees that grow through it.
Thanks so much for that raid coming in.
So there's some trees that grow through it, but it's really like sentient things that it's not interested in letting through.
Okay. So does the stick go through the barrier or does it get stopped at the barrier?
I think it probably increasingly is harder and harder to push through.
Okay. Veshna's gonna look at Sage and see if Sage is going to touch the barrier.
Sage has lived near the barrier their entire life and probably did stupid stuff when they were younger and is entirely uninterested in repeating those experiences.
Sage, it tastes like the red beetles.
Yes, that's nice. Once again, if you lose feeling in your tongue, I'm not fixing it.
That's okay. I remember what you did last time to fix it. I remember the plan. And like, Beckney is just going full ham on this thing.
Finn tries to make it look like they do. They definitely like their face is there, and like the tongue just slowly extends out, and just
then no,
stops.
you don't
like
have to listen to these idiots.
it's just like a little bit in front of it, and then goes back. Finn's like, "Oh wow, that was just as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Okay, glad I did it."
Roll, is there a deception?
I don't think
It's
so.
like charm. Is it
Speech, I
charm?
think, usually.
What?
I think speech we
Speech, I
use
guess,
for
yeah.
deception sometimes, yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay, let's see if they believe you.
That's a 7.
So, yeah, they don't believe you, but they like you anyway.
Yeah.
If anything, Sage respects you more for not doing it.
So, as all the knuckleheads are injuring themselves against the null field, Finn and Sage, you do smell the candy fruits. And that is the reason you are here. So candy fruits, Sage would know that candy fruits they're like a shade fruit. So they grow in the woods. And they're up high in the trees. They're relatively large. I sort of think of them as jackfruit. They're sort of like jackfruit. So they're almost too much work to deal with. But if you're, have a lot of free time in your hands, then you could, butcher them up or whatever. So as the knuckleheads are injuring themselves and laughing about it, what are you guys gonna do?
I haven't, so when they're ripe, would they fall off with enough force to the tree?
They don't. They don't
Okay.
fall off. You
Okay.
have to go and pick them.
Curses. Why do I even have these deer legs?
I'll just kind of like shift the face over and like, so are they gonna help? I guess I'm helping. Are they gonna help?
Beckney, do you want to be thrown into a tree?
I think at the words, Beckney, do you want to be thrown? They're already starting to like make their way back towards you. They're kind of just like holding onto trees as they go. Like, yeah, I would love to be thrown into it. Where are we going?
We're gonna give you a rope, and we're tossing you to get the fruit. I'm just gonna assume Callie's gonna climb.
Oh, Callie's having a slightly different conversation while everybody's talking about this stuff.
Right, do it.
Oh no!
Callie's talking to Pyron, and just suggests, "Hey, Pyron, you're kind of small. I bet I could chuck you through the barrier."
We tried that once.
Yeah,
but
I
no
think-
offense, Beckney, but I'm a lot bigger and stronger than you. I'm pretty sure I could get a little bit more. There was like a smart term for that. Trust. More trust into the air. Something like
Momentum,
that.
thrust.
That's the one.
I
Trust.
was gonna say weavage.
Weaver. Why do we need weevils?
We should get
Okay.
weevils.
What's Pyron's reaction to this?
He starts stretching for some reason. Yeah, I bet you can throw me really far.
Maybe all their
And then-
tongues are like all broken.
Rolls on up.
Okay.
Let's do it.
No,
All right.
no,
give me
we're
your
not.
hands.
Kate,
We'll get kind of close to the barrier first.
Yeah, should there be a running start?
Oh, that's a good idea. I was
This is
gonna
a bad
spin you
idea.
around and then let go. but then
Oh yeah, that'll
Okay.
add the spin.
yeah, we'll do it that way.
We didn't try
so
the
yeah.
spin.
Callie just carries Pirate over to the edge of the barrier and
Veshna,
starts
please. Callie's
spinning
going to
around
kill
in a
Pyron.
circle.
Please help.
It's okay. He was fine last time.
Oh my.
Oh,
Oh, the roots
I think
below.
Veshna sort of like gets in the middle and like as Pyron is doing the like limbering exercises and kind of puts her hands up and says, these trees around here grow through the barrier. It's not like the barrier has like cut them. Why don't we maybe look and see if there's a hole in it? Because
Then I don't get to throw things.
No,
I mean,
I
I'm
don't
not-
get to get thrown.
I'm not like okay. Let me walk this back. I apologize. I was a bit unclear. I'm not saying that throwing Pyron through the barrier that burned your tongue is a bad idea and we shouldn't do it. But I'm
See?
also
So
not
let's do it.
saying that.
That
Oh.
I'm saying it's a bad idea and you shouldn't do it.
Wait,
What about-
Sage
Veshna-
what about the candy
bad
fruits?
idea and we shouldn't do it.
You could throw Pyron into the tree to get the candy fruit, and then we get to eat delicious candy fruit.
What
And
I
so
really
see
like
what
about
the
this
idiot-
conversation is everyone's talking over each other, and Bethany's standing there with his,
Oh, Beckney.
like I think in character.
Yeah.
Waiting
So
for a turn.
you said that the trees go through the field. Does that mean the wood is immune to the field? Could we put Pyron in a log and then throw him through?
So
I could caber toss him.
no, okay. So we're gonna have to actually have a little lesson here. We're gonna do a little lesson time. Everybody, chill out. The barrier is for living non-plant matter, us, sentient, semi-sentient, in some cases, creatures. Trees can grow through. People,
So you're
can't.
saying we need to
That's-
become trees.
if that's where you want to put your time and energy, you go right ahead.
But
That's
Sage,
quiet.
trees are living too.
Non-plants, so like things that think.
Trees don't think.
No,
At
not
least I've heard of it.
well. Like it's different. They think differently. Yes, Veshna.
So
Point of information. Since we have to go to the woods to get the candy fruit,
Mhm.
which was really the purpose for us being here today.
Oh yeah.
And the woods has more trees, which means there are more places where the barrier is less complete than it is now. Maybe we can solve both of our problems at the same time, and then we can go into the field and you can throw Pyron all you want. Maybe we can all throw Pyron.
counterpoint. What if we did it here and then the pangolin that went through the field is selling people candy fruit and we could charge more for it, and I'll think like a tree when I'm doing it.
No, I'm
I
really
can see
sorry.
this.
I think you picked up on
Nope.
the pertinent vocabulary, Pyron. You got, but I think the comprehension is really where we're falling apart a little bit.
You really don't listen to your tutor ever, do you?
I'm like drawing a picture of me being thrown in like the dirt, like I'm drawing a diagram.
There, if anyone has looked over in Finn's direction, there's no longer a humanoid shape. It is just like a oddly rectangular, just 3-inch tall puddle on the ground that is just rippling and bubbling, that seems to be sighing, and it's just like slowly moving. The little like leather skirt that's now in the middle of it just kind of waving. As you know, slowly you see like a bug be picked up and just kind of float inside the water. Just not dealing with this right now. This is I can't see anything that's going to change anything.
I'm seeing
I
like a
don't-
clear
anything.
divide between smart people.
So I think this happens sometimes with friends, and so we can divide up into people who are getting candy fruit and people who are trying to cross the border here.
I think
Oh,
Beckney,
I've got
oddly enough, is helping with the fruit, but their mind is definitely stuck on the field.
So we've got
Callie
Beth-
has one of those thoughts with pictures. An idea. She's like, wait a minute. We could climb a tree, and then I could throw you even further. And that way we all go as a group, and then they can do the fruit thing, and then I'll throw you from the top of a tree.
After getting the candy fruit. Yes.
Sage,
Yes, we do want to get the candy fruit.
Sage,
Yes, Becky.
what if we planted a bunch of things under one of the, maybe a few of the stones, and made like a door?
What? Like,
Because you said that the plants aren't affected by it. So what if we made like a door in the field, and
I've-
then we just open the door?
I'm fairly certain it's still like it continues around those things. I mean, like, and also things take a really long time to grow.
But you're good at growing things. You could make them grow faster.
I think
Like-
as you're having this conversation, you're starting to pay attention, right? Because you can
You're-
keep kind of like thinking of things, and they're big, and they're fantasy jackets, and they're spiky, and you have to work as a team. I mean, this is why the adults don't do this, because it's kind of not worth it, right? So as you're talking about this, you guys are like pushing Beckney up the tree to like shake loose jackfruits. Why it's Beckney up the tree, I guess, is just because he's the littlest.
They're very easy to
They're
throw,
the easiest one
and
to
they
get
like
on.
to be thrown. Mostly, I
that's
just wanted
good.
Beckney to stop contributing to the field conversation.
Here, we're gonna go do a different dangerous thing that I get to control.
And what about Fen? What's Fen doing?
Bubbling distressedly.
Yeah.
Bubbling very distressedly at the moment. And just kind of like, if we actually succeed in getting any of the candy fruit, Finn knows this really nice. He's heard from other folks that the way they eat the stuff in other places is really cool. And so he's been working on a trick. And so if anybody hands him one, they're gonna like go back into a humanoid form and just kind of engulf it. But you'll see, like, after a second, like, just tiny ripples all over the water. And they'll start to steam just a little bit, and you might see like little tiny like flecks starting to float inside. And after about 30 or so seconds, they'll pull it out, and it'll be just not ice cold, but cold to the touch for a hot day. It's like, I did a thing. If anybody wants to try it, I heard it in this place. Other people like it cold, and it's kind of hot. I heard.
That's amazing, Fen.
Yeah.
Um,
Callie will walk over and try a piece, yeah.
yeah, Callie is definitely needed if we're going to break them too.
Sorry, your audio cut out. That Callie's is what?
I mean, if we're going to be opening them at all, having Callie around is probably a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty
I-
solid.
I'd assume we have a tool for this if we've done it for several summers.
Mm-hmm.
The tool is Callie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the tool is Callie. So you are collecting them. I also really like the idea that maybe sometimes Beckney's throwing them down and like they're landing like on Fen. And like Fen is sort of like absorbing them enough.
I'm just
You know,
listening
like-
for the splashes, like, well,
Yeah. Right. So
Oh,
that they're
okay, hang
safely
on.
delivered.
Hey, 2:30.
yeah. And Beckney's like, it's still afternoon. What are you talking about?
Okay, we've talked about this. Damn it, Beckney.
Here's the problem with telling someone 2:30 who can't see.
But it's like
Lots-
relative to around you.
No, Byron, what are you doing?
Don't know.
Are you okay? Are you like still trying to figure out how to get through the barrier, or have you given that up?
I think the problem is I was trying to climb the trees to also help, and also to prove that I could climb the trees with Callie later. But I'm not good at climbing the trees like Callie is.
Okay.
I think I'm maybe on the other side so no one can see my shame.
I
as
do have an
keep trying.
idea, because what we could do is while like Beckney goes off like out of view for a second, maybe they like pull down a branch or a vine and like try to pull you up with it.
Okay, I like this idea that like Pyron's kind of on the DL trying to climb a tree. How's it going?
Not good.
Why don't we see? I think this is probably another nimbleness, right? Or it might be physical fortitude.
Could
there
be a
is
might.
there is might.
Yeah,
Yeah. Might
Oh, yeah,
is,
you're right.
like physically hauling yourself up.
I'm
Okay.
just as bad at all of those. So it's
Great.
great.
Could I potentially help with might? So like maybe pull up if he gets close.
How close do I need to get?
Good question. I don't. Maybe closer than that.
No.
So,
So, quick
Yeah,
reminder
it's
to
rough.
everyone with fundamental RPG, like the lowest DC for most things is 15,
Yeah,
and that was a 4.
we are whiffing.
okay, so I think this is how this is gonna work. Pyron starts to go up the tree and actually makes it onto like one of the bigger branches. But as he's like scrabbling around, he hits into Beckney. And Beckney ends up falling out of the tree and into the barrier. At which point it is exceedingly painful. And you are going to need to roll physical fortitude to see if you pass out.
Well, it's a good thing I have a whole point in that.
One whole point.
Twins.
Raven, quick question on fundamental. If I use an advantage, does that one mean anything? Does that one still factor in?
No, if you use it at your advantage, you just roll twice and take the higher of the 2.
I go ahead and take an advantage.
You just rolled the 3, my dude.
Yeah, I rolled a natural 1, so yeah, I'm gonna take that
That's
14
crazy.
instead.
Like,
Yeah, so
sidle
to
over
better
the
answer your
Veshna.
question, yes, advantage can cancel out on that one.
Cool, thank you. It's probably still pass out, but I don't pass out catastrophically.
Yeah, so
You don't die.
Yeah,
hey,
just
you
burst
just
into
kind of
flame.
yeah, you just kind of blank out for a minute. You're like, whoa, right? But the rest of you can see. So it's as Beckney sort of like falls. Whoever looking, as Beckney falls into the barrier, it's not like a bounce out, but it's like it gets thicker. It certainly gets thicker and is sort of resistant.
Okay.
And sort of Beckney ends up kind of like, roll. It's like the equal and opposite reaction thing,
I
right?
imagine it like
Rolling
going
up.
into a net. Like if you have throw
Yeah.
a ball and it kind of like rolls back out the bottom.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it's at some point then I assume they come to a stop before they would be thrown back, right?
Very quickly though, it's not it's a pretty quick process.
Not
And
enough where
also-
I might mistake them being stuck in there and dive after them.
No, it happens. It's like a ball.
Okay.
It's a very quick thing. In the meantime, how we doing on finding some of these candy fruits? Let's roll some naturalist. How about everybody rolls us a naturalist and sees how they're doing, except for Beckney, who is in fact unconscious briefly.
It's good because I only have a 1 for naturalists anyway.
I'm gonna 7.
21.
Smart kids are doing it.
Look at all the smart kids.
So Kelly's not like super useful for finding things, but she's really good for smashing things. And so, everybody, you're finding a whole bunch of them. You're putting them in the cart. It's really great. Let's see. Beckney's kind of coming around. Are we gonna try to get Beckney back up in a tree, or are we good with what we got?
You know when you have sunstroke and you don't realize how stupid you're being? I think Beckney, as soon as they wake up, is like, why am I out of the tree? I'm supposed to be in the tree. And they go to start scrambling back up it.
I love this. Roll nimbleness. Let's see how you do.
Sage, also, what are you doing? Because this is gonna fail. So
Sage at this point is like kind of, it probably is working with Veshna and kind of brings up like, I appreciate your backup a lot. I did want to say that I'm not disinterested in the idea of finding a hole in the barrier. Just I appreciate when we don't throw our friends at the thing that hurts us.
And Veshna is without breaking eye contact with Sage, going to indicate Beckney sort of like Far Side cartoon throwing himself into a tree repeatedly to try and climb it and go, exhibits A.
Like face palming into it.
Should we go get them?
Boy, this.
Oh, go ahead.
Boy, this fruit sure is delicious. It's just kind of like swishing around in the face area, and y'all probably know full well that Finn cannot eat. It's just floating. It just, this is great. Everybody sure is missing out. Nothing to see outside of the field. This is great.
I think Callie
Veshna turns to Finn and gets that like look in her face that I feel like is relatively well known, where she says, Finn, can I ask you a question? She's
The
bad
face
at
is just
neurological
not
events,
moving
like she might
at
be having
all.
a neurological event.
It is just a complete, suddenly, it could be a translucent statue. It is not moving an inch. The fish is just swimming.
She's gonna kind of like get like walk up with like her sort of like I'm so casual. Look how casual I am, and she's gonna get in front of him and say, Finn, are you able to cross the barrier?
That's actually an interesting question. Finn
Just
is sentient.
Motionless.
not
Finn?
not to interrupt rudely, but Callie does have Crass as a challenge. And so I think she's just gonna walk up to Veshna right at that moment and be like, why are you acting weird? What's wrong with your voice?
And everyone is suddenly looking at me. Oh no.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna go just get Beckney off the tree.
I'm gonna turn very calmly to Callie and say, Callie, I'm asking our dear friend here.
I'm the dear friend, actually.
Dear. That's it. Thank you so much for coming, friends and neighbors. It has been great to have you.
I'm sorry.
We have done all that we will ever be able to do.
All right.
Good night. Thank you and good luck. No, I think she's just gonna turn to Callie and say, Callie, I'm asking our very good lifelong friend here a very important question, and I'm noticing that they seem to be reluctant to answer.
If you
Because
will
you're
notice,
saying it all funny.
the
Your
the
voice went
fish
all
is
high
no.
and long.
The fish is not swimming, it's just being drugged by current. Just completely, it just seems to be completely out of control of its movement. Still
Like
just,
floating upside down.
Just it seems like it's in an underwater tide somewhere.
Pyron has sensed this dramatic moment and he has like a specific few of his scales are very polished to the point where he can roll up and adjust the sun almost to like a spotlight on the scene just to add to the drama.
Without like looking in his direction, Veshna is going to adjust her hair just a little bit so that the light is hitting in the right direction.
We've definitely practiced this.
Yes. This is something that has absolutely happened in the field behind the tavern many a time. And like, Finn, honey, can you cross the barrier?
No.
It's a lot of emotion for no there, Finn. That's a lot of turbulence. Your fish buddy. I mean, I don't know.
For sure dead.
Turbulence.
Like,
your fish
all
buddy
the tiny
is
bugs are dead inside.
No, bug friends.
Finn, I think you may have boiled. It's an awful lot of surface tension for no. It's the first time in my life I ever wish I had taken fluid dynamics in college.
Oh wow, a crab! And like suddenly there's a hand pointing that way,
No.
A crab?
and you see like they were in mid, like their shape was already starting to twist, anticipating people to look away, and they didn't, and so now they're just like one hand awkwardly becoming a claw. Just
Finn, do I have to go get a sponge?
no,
Veshna, we
Please,
promised
not
we
again.
wouldn't do that anymore.
not again.
That was traumatizing for
I
Finn.
thought it was my coral. It wasn't. Okay, please don't tell. Please don't tell.
What's it like? What happened? What is it? What goes on over there?
It's not.
We've been standing in this stupid field for like 3 hours. I had to make sandwiches with my dad, and here you. What are we doing here?
Picking candy fruit.
You
I
have to
thought.
tell us now. You have to tell us.
And is there magic?
I don't know.
Okay, that's actually fair.
There's different. I don't know if it's magic, but there's different.
All of this is
But
while like
it's-
screening into the light.
None of this is any good if it's only Finn who can go through. Like, no offense, Finn. You don't really seem to have an adventurous bone in your body.
What
Or
if we held our
any-
breath?
Hey,
They
I
don't
do
have any bones
things.
in their body.
That sounds really uncomfortable.
Blurts out.
Seven antibones, yeah, true.
Ben, can you cross the barrier anywhere?
I don't know.
Where have you crossed it, Finn?
No, y'all are gonna tell, and I'm gonna get in trouble. No, y'all.
Why
don't
would we
keep
tell
secrets.
someone?
Y'all get not you.
Who
no,
do I
them,
talk
them,
to
they
other
get
than
in
the people
trouble.
who are here?
Oh no, wait! I forgot that I actually have compulsive truth.
I think Veshna, making the same realization that Sage just made, puts a hand over Sage's like mouth area, not like in a menacing way, but in a sort of like, this is not the time.
Hey, Finn. You know you don't have to tell anybody if you don't want to. We're your friends.
I'm still on board with the
I just don't like
Pyron
it.
plan.
We can't,
Me too.
Pyron. No.
Pyron,
Should
did
we
you
do
get
that
in
while
the
they're trying to
tree?
figure this out? Because
Pyron climbed the tree.
You know what?
just doing a lot of talking.
I am so sorry. I am being a very bad friend right now. I have completed the steps to respect curriculum at the Pylon Village Memorial School, and I was a top 3 scorer in the final exam, and I am sorry, Finn, I am not respecting your boundaries. You know that as your friends, the only thing we have ever wanted to do is cross this barrier, and the fact that you have been holding out on us and your ability to do so for such a long time is absolutely your business. And I, as someone who values you and respects you for the person that you are, will honor that. Now, I think we need to go swindle some idiots for candy fruit. And she's gonna like tuck herself all together and like very primly go and start putting the candy fruit into a backpack.
Callie follows that up with like not picking up on the sarcasm or guilt tripping or anything whatsoever. And it's just like, yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. We're your friends, so you don't have to tell us everything.
Callie.
And Callie's 100% genuine.
And so I feel like, all right, as we're kind of packing up, and there is a Wisteria concert tonight, which some of you may be more into than others. For those of you who might not remember, Wisteria is Fenn's older sibling, who is
Super hot.
exceedingly hot, and it's like the big fish in a small pond thing, right? Like, for sure, very hot, probably like 6 years older, so a little out of the, maybe a little out of the bubble, right? Completely out of your league, and very shallow and exceedingly talented in a small town. And so that would be a great place to swindle some people with some fruits. So what are you gonna do? Like, I think we're kind of wrapping it up to head to the concert tonight. So as we sort of are doing that, what does it look like as all the friends are headed back to town?
We could. I'm not actually I'm the goody two shoes. I'm not allowed to suggest this.
Okay.
Just it in Zoom. I'll do it.
Because Callie probably looks over at Pirate and says, we should come back tomorrow and make sure we pack extra food. That way when we get you across the barrier, you don't starve over there. But we should do it tomorrow.
Wait, you don't think I can make it back through?
I mean, probably, but we don't know for sure.
Okay, we should bring let me see if I can't make like a sling or something too. You can just like pull me back and launch me.
A cannon?
Oh, a cannon would be great. We should find that cannon in town that they shot at me.
Yes, absolutely, we should do that.
That would be so perfect, and I could just haul it out there, and then we'll just shoot you with the cannon. I mean, I don't get to throw you, but I get to shoot a cannon, so that's pretty great.
But I mean, it's gonna be pretty tough finding it by tomorrow because it's so well hidden.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
You should totally find the cannon. It definitely exists, and you need to find it.
I think you might want to go look for it.
Please don't mess up their concert. Please, I'm never gonna hear the end of it. I'll take you outside the barrier.
Oh no, they're doing the cannon thing tomorrow.
Please don't mess up their concert.
We're just gonna overcharge for fruit.
What?
I'll take you out. Just please don't mess up the concert.
It's perfectly fair.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't planning to do anything to the concert, so that seems like a great deal. I won't mess up the concert, and you'll take us outside the barrier. That's really nice of you, Fen.
Win-win.
Wait, can we actually?
Sweet. We were just gonna swindle idiots for money for candy fruit.
Thanks, man.
Are we actually going to do this tomorrow?
What else would we do?
And so as you sort of like, as Callie is like running all of you, in the cart, you're all smushed into the cart together with like all these fruit.
Right, the cart.
Just sloshing.
I shall trot alongside the cart, being a deer.
That becomes the question. What else would we do? And we're gonna find out when perhaps we go beyond the barrier.
I'm gonna have to
Love
pack
that.
so many first aid kits.
Please bring fresh water.
Before we go, I would like to have a montage of things that happen at the concert. So if we go forward in time, we've got our little fruit stand, and I wanted to have a quick montage of like a few moments at the concert. Up on stage is Wisteria, who managed to make a random piece of leather look amazing. And they are like a siren. So they're singing so beautifully. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, right? So good. And we know, part of it's because we know that like this fall, Wisteria is probably going to go south to like hook up with some of the water elemental people who live down by, make their fortune and live down by the big pontoon bridge. So what are you all doing as you're trying to make your money and be at this awesome concert?
Sage has really good hearing, and as such, probably is as far from the music as possible, because it's a bit much.
Just trying to run damage control. I don't know. It's kind of like Finn's going into it with the same attitude that I am at this moment. I don't know what is going to come after this, but I'm going to try to make sure it doesn't ruin things. That's pretty much it.
I think Veshna absolutely has a merch table. Veshna has a merch table and has sort of like dragged Pyron in to like be the sort of like, so Veshna's running the merch / candy fruit table, refreshments and merch, and is definitely like getting top dollar. I mean, those are some $35 concert t-shirts. Like there's no,
Well, and I feel like there's also some dolls, some really cute little hand embroidered dolls that Dad made you to help out with your
the League of
business.
Other Kids Who Aren't Your Friends.
Yeah, from the League of Other Children Who Are Not Your Friends. They, like, with all of his skills from that, he made you a bunch of Wisteria dolls that you could sell. Because,
And he put like a $5 price tag on them, and she definitely like the beginning is putting a $10 price tag over the top of all of them. Absolutely.
Yeah. Nice.
Sage is also running a little bit of a like, if you get sick or nauseous in the crowd, come over and I will treat you booth.
The first aid tent.
I'm the first aid tent.
What's Becky doing?
I think Beckney has maybe either asked for some or kind of like taken a bit of the fluorescent paint, unless Pyron wants it on this, and is offering hand-drawn tattoos.
I think that's our
it.
station at the merch table.
I think so, yeah.
Until we get to like the crowd surfing beach ball part of the night for us.
I do want
think-
to say
yeah.
it would be very on brand for this age group that they are increasingly more and more dusty.
Yes. And as well, I think it's cheaper if you get Beckney to do it, because they don't know what the hell they're drawing, but it's going to look neat.
So neat. And what about you, Callie?
So Callie, I think, is if and whenever Beckney, Pyron, or even Sage want to see the concert better, is just putting them on like her shoulders, just like piggyback ride or holding them up with two hands, or all three of them at the same time, possibly. Depends on how the night goes.
Every time their heads pop above the crowd, I panic. Just
I love that we just have this like series of booths where these like 14 and 15-year-olds and we've set up these booths at a concert.
I think probably I'm ushering people. Like I probably have to work this event, and I'm just like watching all of you be like, "Oh no, please don't. Oh no, there's a head. Oh no, there's Beckney's head. Why is Beckney that tall? Beckney shouldn't be that tall."
Beckney, you can't even see. What are you doing up there?
What are you
Hearing better.
What are you thinking about?
Sorry,
So
what?
was that?
Pyron. Oh, you're muted.
I missed the question, I think.
Oh, what are you thinking about? You're at a Wisteria concert.
You know, pangolin things.
It's every time. I think some of me getting to do the stage is just being tossed into the air, and so I get like these brief glimpses of things, and I'm just like, okay, I need to learn how to do that special effect and that light, and this is what my concert's gonna be like.
Well, that's awesome. And so we see our friends making their money, anticipating the day ahead, and trying to fleece everyone as much as they can before their parents make them go to bed. And the curtains close on a successful day being young teenagers in the small town of Pyland Bridge. And so good job, everyone. Thank you for coming and being part of our and helping create our universe. So I'm so excited.
So much fun.
I would love to hear. So I'm a teacher and in my day job, and so one of the things I like to do is give little shout outs to other people at the end. So I'd love to hear everybody as we sort of wrap up. I'd love to have you reintroduce yourselves and tell us your favorite thing that you or somebody else did tonight.
Also, don't forget to tell us a little bit about yourself as well, where people can find you, and anything you'd like to share or plug as well. And yeah, we usually do reverse order from the start. So Calliope, that would actually be you starting. So what was your favorite part? Where can folks find anything you'd like to share or plug?
I'm Calliope. I would like to plug, I'm going to be asking people for favors for my PhD for the next 3 years. So someday I will be coming and knocking on your door to talk to you about role-playing games, although that is not tonight. I love all of it. I'm so excited to inhabit a generally kind universe that is not human-centric. And is not particularly heterocentric. Like, it's just people just doing their thing. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see what happens to our adventurers. And of course, my very favorite thing is the League of Other Children who are not your friends. And I just want to say that I am the founding president, and all of you can join if you want. Although it's awkward because we are actually already friends.
Yeah.
So we might have to not be friends to join. So I don't know, we're gonna have to think of how you get members is very confusing in our new club. But we'll work on it. And if you have any ideas, you can come next week and tell us what they are.
Fantastic. Next, Hannah, what was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you'd like to share or plug?
So we mentioned the League, but I just adored the shouting match between Vishna and her father. It was so fun. And then just at the very end be like, I love you, bye, and like peacing out. Just, oh, beautiful. Love them interactions. You guys can find me here on Raven's channel on Fridays at the noon Mountain Time slot, where we are starting the first session this Friday for Neon Devils 2. And we're really excited because I get to be a completely different kind of fae creature who's way less innocent and a lot more whimsical, maybe evil, cruel. So come check us out on Friday.
Awesome. Pat, same questions. What was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
Oh my gosh, my favorite. How do I choose a favorite part? I feel like just all of Fenn's reactions to everything might be the distressed bubbling, probably. Let's go with distressed puddle. She was so good. Yeah, I'm Pat. I'm here. I'm a tactric on Places Online, and other than here, next place you could find me, I think, is on my channel on Sunday with some of these lovely individuals here, playing our Urban Shadows 2nd Edition campaign in Ruby Tooth Bay. Not Ruby Tuesday. But close.
Fantastic. Next we've got Jay. Favorite part, where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
I'm with Pat on this one. It was so tough to pick a favorite. I think I'm torn between kind of the relationship Sage has with their parent, or guardian, however it looks. It was just very like wholesome and comfortable, and it wasn't like they were chums, but it was like they had this really kind of established rapport without really needing to delve into it. I thought that was really good. So it's between that and just the way that Callie is both the sweetest bean and not the one you would put in the stew. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't soak her long enough to cook her. She just won't absorb a lot. And I love that because the way Raven plays her is just like bone dead simple, but pure of heart. And it's rare to see both of those mix so well. And I think that was really good.
Thanks.
He's the shonen protagonist we all deserve.
Yeah. And I mean that as much of a compliment as I can, because Beckney's right up with you on the bone dead simple.
Yeah.
Where you can find me next will be on this coming Saturday in the evening, 6 p.m. Mountain slot for season 4 of Animus Absentis. Good God. Where we're going to get into some drama, probably some trouble, and maybe some sort of plot eventually. Who knows? It might take another season for that to really come out. Where else you can find
all
me?
Of the above.
All of it. Where else you can find me is on Twitter and on itch.io. I am currently in the works of Afterburner playtesting, and then once those are done, I will be doing an off-stream, maybe on-stream, probably off-stream campaign for the last playtest, and then sometime later this year it'll be out. So keep an ear out for that.
So excited for that. Next we've got Icy Historian. What was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? And anything you'd like to share or plug?
Holy cannoli. Oh man. Well, first of all, I'm Icy Historian. Icy Historian every place I feel like being found on the internet. I don't want to cheat and say everything, but everything. So I think that my favorite part is just, I think Beckney and Pyron is like really sort of my favorite like relationship, but I can't really narrow it down to a moment, so I'll go with that. I just really like being here and hanging out again. It's fun. You can find me on Sunday on Attack Tricks channel, and every other Friday on Polished Cryptids channel, and this Friday we are on. And I guess I'm also kind of working on a thing that has taken a little bit of a back burner since finishing up the school year and grad school and stuff, and that will be definitely part of my summer project. And yeah, good times. I also really liked bringing back Steps to Respect, which is an actual social skills curriculum. It's a good time.
That's amazing. I didn't know that was an actual thing.
Poor Zan. Poor Zan has been the brunt of my forceful vocal cords now many times.
Thrice in the last 2 days. So my self-esteem will recover, but it's going to take some time.
I would pat you on the head, but you're 2 time zones away.
No, only one.
Just one. Speaking of Zan, what was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you'd like to share or plug?
Yeah, I'm Zan. I'm a DM and content creator for 5e World of Darkness, Powered by the Apocalypse, and a whole bunch of other really great games. I also do some random games on my channel. Like at the moment, I'm working on finding my favorite fan-made Pokemon game, and that's proven to be a lot of fun. There are also other people on this channel that I am side-eyeing like a motherfucker because they didn't mention any projects that I'm working with them on, so I can't mention them, I suppose. And I see 2 people having strong reactions, but I'm not going to point any fingers.
Other projects coming later in this.
I just want to hype shit, though. Okay, yeah.
I mean, you can hype it now. That's great.
It's
But
cool. We'll let we'll let it stay under the surface, I guess.
It's simmer.
Yeah, we'll let it simmer. There we go.
In Calliope Land, there's 2 times. There's now and not now. And that's still
Mhm.
not now. So when
Okay.
That's just
we're gonna
ADHD
now,
time.
and we're gonna hype it up, baby.
So I've got some stuff coming down the pipe, but that is not a today thing. You can also find me over on a Tactics channel for the Urban Shadows game, as well as on Polished Cryptid's channel at an ungodly hour in the morning on Tuesdays and Fridays. So yeah, I'm just kind of all over the damn place, and I think maybe next week I'm gonna do. I just got a solo TTRPG called like Raising Hell, and it's supposed to be like modeled after Monster Rancher, and so I think I might play that on stream because, it's the only way you can play with yourself on stream and not get banned. And yeah, that's oh fuck, my favorite part. My favorite part was the. I feel like I've used this one before, but it really stands out in this episode as well. The cinematography in this episode was really, really good. Like, it really felt like each person had their little bit of an individual scene, and then we got their name and their information and all of that, and then the wagon rolled up, and they got to join everyone else. So they got a little bit of time to shine, and then they were put with the group, and then the next person got a little bit of light, and just. The pacing and the flow of it was absolutely fantastic. Everybody got such like a good, like what felt like an opening that did them justice and let them shine. It was absolutely fantastic.
I agree. The pacing was very spot on. Well done, Calliope, for that. All right, that just leaves me. My favorite part. Yeah, I'd have to say for Calliope, it's definitely the pacing and the description of the fruit and everything was just amazing. For Hannah and Sage, just the constant, like, long suffering, like, no, don't do the, you're gonna do the stupid thing. Like, that was just amazing.
Can't stop you.
Yeah. I can't stop you, but I'm still gonna say something. All of the Beckney and Pyron shenanigans, just chef's kiss. It's amazing. Definitely Vejna's yelling back and forth with her father was just like, I'm just gonna go grab some popcorn and sit here because this is just fantastic. That could just keep going the whole night. It was all great. And then Finn, I absolutely love this character design and the personality that you've given them. It's a really cool concept, and the fact that they are just so sort of nervous all the time. It's a lot of fun. And then, yeah, I really appreciated all of the opportunities for that you all gave Callie to do something stupid. It was a lot of fun. Where you can find me next will be tomorrow at the same time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, for Exodus. We're wrapping up that series, so we've only got a few more episodes left. But I will be playing Niklaus Sebastian Adama, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde character, where Nick is the smarmy, arrogant villain doctor, and Klaus is the chaotic, homicidal imp side of things. It's a lot of fun. We're coming into the home stretch of the story, so definitely would want to check that out. It's going to be pretty great. And then Thursday we've got season 2 of Star Wars starting, Elite Beskar. Friday we've got Neon Devils 2 at noon. And then Saturday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time we'll have Animus Absentus. And then next week we'll also be adding in Welcome to Madison on Friday nights, which is going to be a surreal horror game, and Necrobiotic on Saturdays at noon. So lots of cool new stuff coming up. That's about it for where you can find me and stuff like that. Other things to share and talk about are sponsors, which we've got a few here to talk about. One is Fundamental RPG. It looks like this. It's a system that we've been using for this game. We're also using that on Animus. Welcome to Madison is going to be using that, and then later in this season, once Exodus is done, we're going to be using it for our Blackfeather paranormal investigations campaign. Very, very versatile system. You can pick up a physical copy on Amazon or a digital version at coffee.com/raven/shop. Like it says at the bottom of the screen, just add /shop to the end. There's also free character sheets available for download at that location. Speaking of that website, it's also where you can find Intrepid, which is adventuring gear for real life. You may have seen I've been drinking from an Intrepid mug while we've been sitting here. You can find stuff like this, clothing like outdoor athletic and casual wear, mouse pads, all kinds of cool stuff with an adventure or tabletop theme to them. You can find that at the same spot. And then last but not least, Die Hard Dice. They sent over a really cool rainbow set. You can kind of see it on camera here. I got a whole set of these dice that look really cool. Die Hard has some of the best dice that I've come across. I use them almost exclusively when I'm rolling physical dice. So it's very cool stuff, and if you would like to get 10% off your order when you head over there, you can just use the code BlackFeatherMay, all one word with a capital B and a capital M. And I think that is almost everything. One more thing I'm forgetting, the Fantasy Network. If you'd like to catch up on other shows that we've had on the channel or past shows that we've had in different seasons, you can check out all of our older content on the Fantasy Network. That's just watch.thefantasy.network. Look for the stream library and then go to Black Feather Guild, and that's where all of our stuff is. And with that, we're going to go on a raid. I've got a raid cry, which is, "But Daddy, I don't want to embroider." Feel free to copy that right out of chat. Then we're going to go raid Nerdsmith. Just make sure that they're still live real quick. But we are Nerdsmith. It's another fantastic channel, a whole bunch of really cool people over there. You should definitely give them a follow if you're not doing so already. And then I will see you all tomorrow. I'm just waiting for it to load so I can make sure that they actually are still live before I send us all over there. They are. All right, so I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.